Shalom, I'm Rabbi Michael Panitz. I'm the rabbi of Temple Israel of Norfolk, Virginia, speaking to you from the pulpit of our congregation. At this time, I'd like to address the subject, Bless My Eyes to See with Wonder. North Americans are gearing up for a total eclipse of the sun. Some of our own congregants are preparing to travel to Texas to experience that rare occurrence. Others of our members living in Canada in the path of the totality are expecting 500,000 visitors to overwhelm their city of 100,000. When I was young, our primary school textbooks used solar eclipses to indoctrinate us in the dogma of the superiority of the Western scientific outlook to those of the pre-modern and indigenous peoples' worldviews. We were taught that Christopher Columbus, then considered a hero, overawed the natives in the Indies by correctly predicting a lunar eclipse. We were confident in the self-congratulatory knowledge that the members of non-Western cultures were ignorant, their view of the natural world deformed by superstition. Solar eclipses were Exhibit A for the prosecution. Non-Westerners and pre-moderns were filled with dread during solar eclipses because they believed that the sun, so essential for all of life, was actually being devoured by some malevolent entity. They would make noise to scare away the threat to their well-being. In Choctaw culture, it was a giant black squirrel attacking the sun. The ancient Chinese believed that a dragon was the sun's antagonist. We, by happy contrast, were safe and secure in the knowledge that a solar eclipse was fully explained by science and that it represented no threat at all to anyone's well-being, unless you looked at the sun without proper safeguards. Many housewives in our, quote, enlightened, close quote, society got the wrong memo. Sure that there was a danger and not sure how far it extended, they kept their children indoors during a solar eclipse to prevent us from going blind. In school, we were given a graceful way to overcome such ignorance. We were instructed to bring shoeboxes to class and embarked on construction projects. We made pinhole observatories using those shoeboxes so that we could safely face away from the sun and track its shadow. I'm grateful for the life-enhancing blessings of modern science, for the ability to produce food beyond subsistence levels, for modern medicine, and all the other technological aids in mastering our environment. But today we are increasingly aware of the hidden costs of this progress. One of these costs is the disenchantment of the world. If the world is just a thing, do we not sense what we have lost? Well, what is the world if not a thing? Would you want to go back to the demon-haunted cosmos of our ancestors? But this is a false dichotomy. The alternatives are not only soulless science versus superstitious spiritualism. As you might expect me to say, Judaism has long grappled with these thoughts and given us much sane and profound wisdom. The world is good because God has judged it good. We're obliged to care for it because God has ennobled us with the intelligence to be partners in the work of creation. Understanding need not crush spirit. Understanding can enable us to be our best selves and at the same time be good for the world. In the Talmud, discussing whether solar eclipses are omens of ill, Rabbi Yochanan proclaimed, Ein mazal leYisrael. The people Israel are not governed by astrological constellations. We have had eras where folk beliefs resisted that highbrow teaching, but it is a good insight to internalize. The world can be understood, at least in its physical aspect, by an embrace of the scientific viewpoint. But there is more. Science has its proper domain, and it is unrivaled in its ability to explain phenomena within that domain. But that domain is not all that there is to know. Once we articulate the proper relationship of faith and reason, we can see that they are meant to be partners, not rivals. What does religion do that is an ally, not a rival, of a true scientific spirit? Mature religion, like the best impulse within science, appreciates wonder. Quote, "Lift up your eyes and behold, who made this?" sang the prophet Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 26. Judaism teaches us to behold the phenomena of nature with wonder, with awe, and our proper response is to utter words of blessing. When you see the eclipse this coming April 8th, with proper safeguards, of course, I hope you will be motivated to recite any or all of these words from our tradition. Psalm 19, verse 2. The heavens tell God's glory. God's handiwork, sky declares. Psalm 8, verses 4 and 5. When I see your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars you fixed firm. What is the human that you should take note of him? Mortal humans, that you take heed. Or from the rabbinic prayer book. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. Blessed are you, O Lord, creator of the celestial lights. In this week's biblical portion, we receive a hint of these inducements to embrace wonder in the face of the cosmos. The passage I have in mind is a set of technical instructions to the priests as to the maintenance of the altar on which they offer the sacrifices that constituted worship in those days. The Bible instructs, "The fire on the altar shall keep burning on it. It shall not go out." Leviticus chapter 6, verse 5. I've often interpreted these words to suggest something beyond the literal and technical meaning of the verse. Maybe the fire that shall not be allowed to go out is the fire of religious commitment. Maybe the fire is the illuminating light of the intellectual quest for the meaning of it all. This year, with the eclipse soon upon us, I offer an additional interpretation of these words. Let the flame of our sense of wonder not be extinguished. For wonder leads not only to curiosity, but also to appreciation. Wonder, channeled by spirituality, can lead us to utter blessing, and more, to become forces for blessing. The world needs that so desperately right now. Let us be blessings. Amen.